Hello BookTube, I'm Shawn the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. This is another of the discussion videos that Doris of Aldi Books and I are doing on the Faber's Stories, single volume editions of short stories published this year to celebrate their 90th anniversary. And this one is Sally Rooney's story, Mr. Salary. Sally Rooney is really hot right now. She's a 27-year-old Irish reader, so it's only fitting that we are reading her in March. And I'm not a big fan, so I'm hoping that this story will change my mind. I tried to read her debut novel, Conversations with Friends, and I bailed early. I felt that the characters had no personality, so I was bored. I did it on audio, had a lovely Irish accented narrator, but I just couldn't continue. And everything I've heard about her second novel, Booker longlisted and various other prize nominations, Normal People, it sounds pretty awful too. But I don't know anybody my age who likes Sally Rooney, and I don't know anybody under 40 who doesn't love her. So I think she's a generational writer. The Guardian article from January that I read just now calls her the Snapchat Salinger. I believe that was the phrase. And I was quite surprised to see that Allie Smith is a fan, and she says, Sally Rooney's writing is a cocktail of high intelligence, truth, and humaneness. So I must have been missing something. And I am trying to go into this story with fresh eyes. I have read, there's a section break on page 9, I've read that, so that's about a third of the story almost. And I am enjoying the writing. It's too early for me to assess whether the characters are flat or not. I'm interested in what I have picked up on. It's quite a funny story. So the scene, Doris, what did you think of the opening scene? I thought it was quite comical. She arrives back in Dublin, I think she was in America, to this man who was her roommate, and maybe we don't know what the nature of their relationship is. She's coming back because her father's on his deathbed. She has a really ugly suitcase, and the banter about her suitcase, and how scruffy she feels having been on a plane for all that time. I just thought it was quite humorously done, and I'm curious about the relationship between her and Nathan. Like a lot of critique of my generations of readers, the gender dynamics are a little 1950s already. She's very much emotionally yearning for him and open to him, and he seems pretty closed off and hiding behind a wall of witty masculinity. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm certainly eager to continue this story, and I am very curious to see what you think so far, Doris.
Hey Shawn, thanks for that great intro. When you said Snapchat Salinger, I'm like, ew, I do not like Catcher in the Rye at all. But then you were following it up with Allie Smith, and I adore her. So yeah, I think that perfectly encapsulates Sally Rooney's works. She is so divisive, isn't the right word, polarizing. She's so polarizing, just like you said. So I am a Sally Rooney virgin. I've never read any of her works. And unlike you, I do adore getting on the hype train now and again, especially when it's someone who's polarizing, because I'm so curious to see what I think. Yeah, and I just still don't know what to think about her, and that's because of my reading style. So I was not at all interested in reading Conversations with Friends when it came out, because I just don't particularly care for reading about stories focused on relationship issues, especially in the Western world. So yeah, that one didn't interest me at all. But Normal People does. I kind of like reading young adult romances from time to time. And this one sounds like it's got a really interesting contemporary modern spin to it, and that cover I covet the little sardine can with the people in it. I covet it so much. I know I'm shallow, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, because, for example, I read The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer, and I just really did not get along with that book. It scarred me so badly that I won't read anything else by Meg Wolitzer. But Elif Batuman, The Idiot, similar group of people and time frame, I loved. I really enjoyed this freshman focused college setting story, awkwardness. I got a kick out of it. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm really trying to figure out what I think and if I should attempt Sally Rooney. And like you said, a lot of people whose opinions I respect, like yours. Natalie just did a reading vlog on it and she didn't quite get along with it. So I'm way curious. I'm hoping this little book here will clue me in on what I think. But so far, I don't have any clear opinions. That introduction, that first 9 pages was intriguing. I am definitely intrigued. So what I liked about it, and it's funny how two people can have just completely different perceptions of what's going on. When I first started reading it, I was just so affronted by his opinion of her suitcase, and I thought, why in the world was she with him at all? I totally made the wrong assumptions, or I think the wrong assumptions about the situation. And when I flipped back to think about it again after I'd read a few more pages, I was like, oh, and then it was a little funny to me. So I liked the relationship. But, you know, with that little cologne sniffing segment there, it has me thinking, is this an unbalanced relationship? Is there indeed more as I first suspected? So definitely I am intrigued, but I have no opinion yet. So stay tuned, because hopefully, this is a short one, but hopefully in 33 pages, I will know more about what I think of Sally Rooney's writing, maybe.
Hey Doris, you didn't love The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer? I'm not sure our friendship can continue. That's a Marmite book for sure. I know quite a few people whose literary tastes overlap with mine most of the time that hated that book, but I loved it. I couldn't get into her next novel, A Female Persuasion, but The Interestings was very interesting. So, and I heard enough about the Elif Batuman Idiot novel to think that I probably wouldn't need to check it out. But, really, the lesson in terms of this short story by Sally Rooney is never say never. I was convinced that Sally Rooney would not be for me, and had a lot of the qualms that you expressed, and I expressed my qualms in the first go-around, but this was a 5-star read for me. I love this story. Maybe because it was a short story. What was missing for me in Conversations with Friends was here in Droves, which was really quirky, fully developed characters, I thought. Is she ever named? Suki. Suki was lovable and fascinating, and I could feel her in the story. I couldn't feel any of the characters in Conversations with Friends. There's definitely a gender dynamics critique to be made, but in the confines of a short story, 30 pages, in a small book, it's probably a 15 or 20 page story in a normal size book. I just thought it was a really powerful, funny, moving story about a young woman, I don't know how old she is, but she's maybe 20, I think, who's kind of at loose ends and kind of insecure and deeply, deeply adorable, who's latched on to a friend of a cousin or something like that, or a cousin of a cousin-in-law. I can't remember it was a weird connection, but that they had lived together as roommates, and then she's come back and her father's dying, and there's all this stuff going on, emotional, and it comes out in weird ways, but really affecting. So, I don't know if I could get along with a novel of Sally Rooney's. I'm still not sure that I'll ever try. Normal People. Do you want to try buddy reading it sometime, Doris? But this story really worked for me. 5 stars. How about you?
Okay, I loved it. Totally loved it. How in the world did she get me to care so much for these 2 characters in just 33 little pages? I don't know, but it was great. So yeah, 5 shining stars from me as well. Now, I'm still on the fence about Normal People, though. I'm with you. I don't know if I can handle the drama, the back and forth, on and off again relationship in that book. I'm not quite sure. But our dear friend Ange from Beyond the Pages is just reading it as we speak and mentioned really loving it. So maybe, should we give it a try, Shawn? Should we buddy read Normal People? I guess stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.